I'm gonna show you how you can place yourself inside a moving cell phone using motion tracking in After Effects. And we're starting right now. Game. Now, this tutorial was actually requested by one of my subscribers. He commented, "Sir, paano po ba i-insert picture mo sa isang video? Like, inserting yourself po sa isang phone. But the phone is being moved sideways po." So, thank you so much, Joshua Said, for commenting on my video and asking for a tutorial request. Ang tagal ko nang di nagpo-post and you have motivated me to create content for you just so I can teach you how to do this very simple effect that you can do in After Effects. So before shooting any footage, in your phone, you have to search for a blank green screen with tracking markers. So I've already searched for one beforehand. This is what it looks like. So After Effects will have an easier time tracking the movements of your phone. Of your hand sa phone, diba? Kasi that's what motion tracking is within After Effects. The textbook definition of motion tracking in After Effects is the process of tracking the movement of an object within a piece of footage. So gets naman, motion tracking is tracking the motion. So dinidetect niyo yung movement ng object mo para you can place the data of the movement in another layer para that layer can also copy the certain movement that your object is making. So basically, what After Effects does is it tracks mga cross marks in this image. So it will track it frame by frame and it will store the data so that other layers can use it as well. So because nga it tracks it frame by frame, it will need a lot of information and it will store a lot of data. So kailangan malakas yung RAM mo. And matagal siya na process. It will go through your video frame by frame and remember the point wherein kung saan yung X mo at that moment in time para malagay niya yung data sa isa pang layer. So you always have to keep in mind that for any footage that you're shooting and you plan to motion track it, you have to make sure that it's well lit, properly na nakafocus siya, and maayos yung contrast niya from the background. So medyo slightly lang naman mas mahirap mag-track sa kamay ko because it's kind of has a similar color from the background. But if you're gonna track, let's say, my hair, it really hurts against the background, dun magta-track ng motion yung After Effects, it will be much easier than if it will track the motion against my hand. Kasi since color black yung hair ko, mas contrasted siya from the light color of the background. So these are the things that you have to keep in mind when you plan to track motion. You have to make sure that well contrasted yung color ng ita-track mo sa color sa background. You have to make sure it's properly focused, it's properly lit, and if you're gonna track motion within a screen, let's say sa laptop, sa phone, then you're gonna have to have this image para After Effects will be able to track it easier. Kasi as you can see, sobrang contrasted niya. May black and white markers, tapos green screen siya, so you can easily chroma key the image within the phone and replace it with a new one. So once you have the footage of you holding your phone with the green screen tracking markers, we're gonna import all of the footage inside After Effects. So inside After Effects, as you can see, I already have both of my footage. So my first footage, which is me pretending that I'm inside my phone. So mukha akong tanga. Pero green screen markers lang pala yung nasa loob. And the other footage is me talking to you guys and introducing the video. So this is the footage that I'm gonna put inside my phone when I track the motion using After Effects. So first, what you need to do is double-click mo yung layer na gusto mong i-track. So once you double-click that layer, you go to the tracker window and click on Track Motion. And once you click Track Motion, you'll see this parang square, two squares na may cross sa gitna. So this is what After Effects uses to track the motion within the two squares. So the smaller square is where After Effects will track the motion, and the bigger square is parang an allowance wherein After Effects can still look outside the inner square if wala na siyang mahanap na medyo contrasty na bagay. So like what I said kanina, you have to make sure yung thing na itatrack mo medyo contrasted siya sa background para itong cross and the squares that After Effects, yung tool na After Effects, mas tatrack niya yung motion of that contrasted item from the background. So looking at the tracker properties on a deeper level, you can see na pwede kang mag-track ng 3 properties. So you'll be able to track the position of a moving object or a rotation of it, or pwede ring scale kapag kunyari lumalaki or lumiliit siya. So since what we want to track are both the position and the rotation of my cell phone, i-check rin natin yung box ng rotation. And then from this, makikita mo may second na tracking point pa lumabas. So what After Effects does is it tracks the rotation of its movement while also tracking its position while it's moving. So it will get that data and will be placing that data on another layer para makopy niya yung movements, yung position, and yung rotation ng cellphone while it's moving. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna place the tracking point 1 in the center of itong black and white X on the green screen tracker. And then for tracking point 2, we're gonna place it at the opposite end para mas matrace niya talaga yung rotation of the cellphone. So from there, we're gonna click Analyze Forward here in the tracker window. And mag-isa na siya na mag-analyze. So as you can see, the tracking points are moving along with the phone, and it means na it's basically tracking the movements of the phone. Paulit-ulit. So of course, the longer the footage, the longer it takes for it to track kasi it really goes by frame to store the data of the position and the rotation each frame. And now, as you can see, ito na yung mga data points wherein kung saan yung position and kung saan yung rotation ng each frame ng video. So what we're gonna do now is click Layer, New, and then create a new null object. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna store the data that we tracked from this layer into the null object. So you click on Edit Target, you click the null object layer, click OK, and then click Apply. And then apply dimensions for X and Y. And then click OK. There we go. So as you can see, so null object natin, meron ng both data, yung position and yung rotation natin. And as you can see here, as we scrub through the timeline, gumagalaw rin yung null object along with the cellphone. It means na copy na niya yung data ng tracking point natin. And once you've tracked your footage and nalagay mo na yung data inside your null object, what we're gonna do is you click the footage that you want to be moving with your cell phone, and then hold this parang swirly icon, and then drag it to the null object. So basically what that does is it will copy the properties of the null object since siya na yung parang parent ng layer na to. So para makita natin how it looks like, let's scale it down and then place it on the side temporarily. And then once we play it, makikita natin na it moves along with my phone. So yeah, that's the basics of how you track motion using the motion tracker in After Effects. Whichever gusto natin, nakalagay siya sa phone mismo, diba? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna line it up sa phone natin mismo. So let's lower down the opacity so that we can see the phone in the background and we can see how we can fit in the screen. So ayusin lang natin yung rotation a bit para mag-match siya sa rotation ng pinaka-first frame ng phone. And then once you're satisfied with the exact position in the very first frame, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a mask around the footage that matches the shape of the phone para yun lang yung makikita in the video. And para mas realistic pa yung effect, let's add a color correction to the footage that's moving. So what we can do is add a lumetri color in the footage and then just adjust the properties. So you can lower down the exposure, maybe create an S-curve and lower down the saturation just to make it seem na nasa loob talaga ako ng phone. And basically, that's how you can track motion in After Effects. So don't forget, whenever you plan to track motion in your footages, you have to make sure that whatever you're tracking has good contrast from the background. So either sobrang different ng colors nila, like dark yung foreground and then light yung background, or super contrasted ng focus nila. Like sobrang focused yung object while yung background medyo naka-blur. That way, After Effects can easily track your object when it's moving. Kasi if it's not properly contrasted, then After Effects will have a hard time to track it. And minsan, tatalon-talon siya ng itatrack kasi iisipin niya na those are the same two objects. If walang masyadong contrast, ganun yung mangyayari sa pagtatrack ni After Effects sa footage mo. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more tutorials. And of course, comment down below if you have any suggestions, recommendations, or any other tutorials that you want me to do. And I'll find time to make them so that I can teach you guys. And if you want to learn more about Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, or Adobe Lightroom, check out my other videos right here.